Hi everybody, Brendan Dennehy here, founder of the Fatherhood Programme and author of the book Fed, Funded and Ferried, A Father's Guide to Happy Children. Here at the Fatherhood Programme we celebrate the joy of fatherhood and all things paternal, and we love mums too. I'm joined on the couch this evening by a good family friend, Pat Sexton, who happens not to be a father, but is a great man to expound on all matters that he finds interesting. And I've just asked Pat, like he's been visiting our house for a long time and has seen the boys grow through the years, and I'm just asking him as an outside observer, what do you think this whole father parenting thing is about?
Well, I suppose my role here, as you say, yes, is a sort of independent, detached, sort of neutral observer. But the first thoughts that come to my mind anyway is something that something I heard a long time ago on the radio. Some guy being interviewed, and he was a musician or something. It had nothing to do with parenthood or fatherhood or anything like that. And he was a musician or performance artist of some sort, and he was like myself. He was a single man. He had no commitments. He had no family commitments. But what happened was he was talking about his life anyway, and then he was talking about some particular friend of his who had quite considerable amount of family commitments. I suppose by that, my vague recollection is that he had children, and I suppose had elderly parents that needed caring as well, so was up to his neck in family commitments. But the guy who was being interviewed was a single man, no family commitments whatsoever, devoting all his time and energies to his own performance art or music or whatever it was. But at one stage, as a complete aside, when he was talking about his work, he just mentioned his friend, and he was going to rehearsals, and he mentioned his friend. His friend was involved in some capacity, I'm not exactly quite sure. And he just chanced upon just how busy he was with running here and running there. And he just stopped for a moment and he just sighed. And he said, I just don't know how those family guys do it. Right? And it stayed in my mind. He said it was unscripted. It was outside of the realm of what he was speaking about. But these are the moments that stick in your mind.
But I often think the unscripted question, you know, if somebody throws a question at you and you haven't pre-prepared a response, like you asked me a number of years ago because of your tennis partner having becoming a parent, and this disrupted your life, your nice little routine that you had for a while, and then you asked me out of nowhere, you said, what's parenting like? And I remember my response was there's probably a decade there when you don't get any sleep.
Yeah.
And that came straight from my toes because that was my experience of it.
That was your unscripted, instinctive kind of response, and it made a certain impact with me for sure. Yeah, that there was a decade passed by where you got no sleep, or you were sleep deprived for a decade. Yeah. So it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, as they say. But yeah, so 20, 30 years ago, how do those family guys do it? So it's hard work, it's a commitment, but anyway, yes, there's this friend of mine who became a father recently, and I said it to him, and I was trying this out from time to time, you know, and we'd be sort of changing after our game of tennis, and he was running off here or there, and I'd say, I don't know how you family guys do it. And I said that a few times. It was my catchphrase, you know, at the end of it, you know, and I was the free, happy, single man, didn't have any of these things to worry about. And one day, he turned around anyway, and what he said was, he said, Pat, we don't. And that kind of caught me by surprise, and he said, we don't do it. You know, that what happens is, it just all goes wrong. That the implicit in my question was that you guys, you actually get it done in the end. You know, juggling all these different demands, you get it done. But he said what actually happens in real life is that we don't get it done. It ends up being a total mess. You're running into work, you have pressure from, you know, some deadline you're trying to meet. You're trying to manage that, and then you've got, I suppose, your relationship with your partner is another thing that needs a bit of work. Your parents could be still alive, they might need some care, and then, you know, you've got some family issue and you've got to take care of that. And obviously in real life what happens sometimes is it does not get done. or it just blows up and
It's the polar opposite to a game of tennis, actually, because the ball very often goes out loads of times. It rains off reasonably regularly. The other partner doesn't turn up. If you wouldn't have a tennis partner for long if it started going like that. So, we can create certain rules around lots of things, but if there's one place where there are no rules and there are no boundaries, and sometimes there seems you need boundless energy, it's parenting. It's, whatever about your relationship with your partner, you can't get divorced from your children, and there's that emotional connection that, is wonderful, but is, it's, you're not going to do it half do it.
Which sometimes it just all goes wrong.
Yeah,
and
but that's okay too, I guess.
You've got to pick up the pieces. So I suppose the sports pundits would use the term bounce back ability, a horrible word.
Yes.
But you have to have bounce back ability, and I made a total hash of that yesterday. And you try again.
You start all over.
A different approach, or same approach, or a modification of the same approach. I don't know, but it's just one of those things that...
But it's like restarting anything. Sometimes as a parent there could be several times in the 1 hour, not to mention the one day, where you're starting all over again. We had this lovely phrase when they were growing up, actually, and if something went awry, as it inevitably does, you take a deep breath, you go for a walk around the block, and you come back and you say, and we'll start again. And there can be days when you have 3 and 4 starts again, but you have to at some point... Doesn't Tiger Woods have the phrase whereby if he's a terrible shot, he has the 10-yard rule, and he walks 10 yards and then he forgets about it? And there's a lot of that in parenting. There's a lot of stuff you have to let go, because they're people, they're complete human beings, and you can't control them.
I think you could be onto something really important here. And from the whole sort of strategy, I'm interested in games of strategy, as you know, and is when things go wrong, it can snowball.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. There's actually a situation I heard of recently in a game of soccer, and apparently there's an Argentinian international that missed 3 penalties in one game. Right? I don't know his name, I must look it up.
Okay.
He missed 3 penalties in one game. Right? If you relate that to parenting, you make a hash of the first job that you're trying to do, right? Then you're frazzled, your confidence is low.
Sure.
You need a break. Because if you're told take the penalty now again the second time, the guy who misses the first time, the probability of him missing the second time is higher.
Yes.
And so it wasn't so much that Argentinian guy that he was he was probably a superb footballer,
yes,
but his confidence was down for the second kick, it was lower for the third kick.
Yes.
Take the break, I think that's the answer. If things go wrong, take a break.
Absolutely, and which is not always possible, but confidence is everything. Confidence in yourself as a parent,
confidence,
and to inspire the child to have a measure of confidence too, despite the imperfection of it all. So confidence, when it leaves one, either a child or an adult, is a very sad sight. But it does, it does leak away from time to time. But you start anew, you set the clock again.
You know what I would say, right, for closing the presentation? It's not that Argentinian guy who missed those 3 penalties in an important international match, right, for his country. It's who was his manager that left him take the second and the third. That's what I want to know. That's the guy who made a mistake.
And his father probably ran out of the stadium after the second one, who knows. But it's just another perspective, and we're just going to wrap it up here now, Pat, but it's lovely having somebody actually as a family, an outsider coming in and visiting, because it changes the atmosphere in the house, and oftentimes for the better, because when anybody comes into any group the dynamic changes. So we would have had nights here when there's people maybe not feeling the best, and then you'd walk in and you'd just hang out and say a few funny things to the lads, and they love it. So families, it takes a village to raise a family, including visitors and family friends.
Thank you very much for...
So you're welcome anytime. So I hope you found this of help. Pat thinks he's brilliant anyway, and an expert on all things, including parenting. But,
he's a bullshitter, in other words.
I wouldn't say that. So thanks for watching, and as we always say on the Fatherhood programme, we're good enough parents, good enough children are as well, and good enough family friends as well. Thanks for watching.